Hey, what's good, everyone? It's Mike from Terra Garden again, and today's rhythm guitar walkthrough tutorial is going to be for our song Emotionless, which is track number 6 on our 2018 album Karma and Chaos, the band's second record. If you'd like to play along, it's in standard tuning, so when you pluck all the strings, it should sound like this. Just like all the other videos, I'm going to play each section of the song at full normal speed, and then we'll slow it down and break down note for note exactly what's going on. Let's begin. Alright, so the way this song starts in the beginning, Johnny's the one that does the clean picking rhythm. I never recorded that part. I only did the lead over it. So, we're going to jump all the way to basically the end of intro 1 when the distortion comes and everybody kind of kicks in. So first I'm going to play it normal speed, then we'll break it down. Okay, so we're going to slowly break down the very end of what I call intro 1. So we're starting out with a power B chord. So 2 on the E string, 2 on the A string, 4 on the D string, and 4 on the G string, all together. On the record, you'll kind of hear it fade in. So you hit that. And then we're going to do a small descending pattern. So it's going to be 4 on the D string, then 2 on the D string, then 5-4 on the A string, back to 2 on the D string, and then 5-4-2 on the A string. So slowly all together. One more time. You're going to notice that they're all muted. And then that's it, and it leads into intro 2. Alright, for intro 2, Johnny's basically playing the verse rhythm underneath it, and my rhythm is matching what the bass and drums are doing. So I'm going to play it full speed, and then we'll break it down. Alright, so to break down intro 2, for my part, it's basically power chords that are starting and stopping with the bass and drums in sync. So we start out with an F sharp, 2 on the E string, 4 on the A string, 4 on the D string. That's your first hit, and it just immediately stops after striking it. Then you're going to jump to a G, so just one half step over. 3 on the E string, 5 on the A string, 5 on the D string, and you're going to slide right back to F sharp as soon as you hit it. So to recap those first 3 notes. And then we're going to do an E to an F sharp, so open E, 2 on the A, 2 on the D, and then the second hit is going to be back to an F sharp again. So all together. And we're sliding a little bit up on the guitar. You're going to do a quick muted chug on the open E before striking the E chord up above, which is 7 on the A string, 9 on the D string, 9 on the G string. So like that. And then you're going from an E, D, C sharp. So the whole thing all together slowly. Alright, we're going to break down pre-verse 1, which you'll learn is kind of part of the verses as well. We're basically doing some muted triplets as well as some open string hits, so I'll try to be as attentive as I possibly can. First, we're going to start out on an F sharp. And the picking pattern is going to be like this. You'll hear muted and open strings. So an open, muted triplet, open, and then one palm mute hit. Immediately after that, you're going to hit an open E and then an open D. The top two strings. Followed by, on a G, 3 on the E string, 5 on the A string, 5 on the D string, and slide it down to F sharp. Then the same pattern as before. Then you're going to hit an open G string and 4 on the D string, which you already have in position. So just to recap that first half. Second half of this, then we're going to an E to an F sharp. So open E, 2 on the A, 2 on the D, and then immediately into an F sharp. And then once again, the same picking pattern from before. And then from there, we do open E, open B, and open G. And then the chords at the end are C sharp, so 4 on the A string, 6 on the D, 6 on the G, and we're going to go up. C sharp, D, E. So very slowly. And then the second half of the pre-verse 1 is exactly the same, except the tail end, we're reversing it. So instead of going C sharp, D, E, we're going E. So that's 7 on the A string, 9 on the D string, 9 on the G string. We're going the opposite. E, D, C sharp. So all together, the whole thing. All right, so we're going to slow down and break down verse 1 basically into 3 sections. Section 1 is exactly the same as pre-verse 1, which you already learned. So we're going to take it from the change in the middle. So we're starting out on a B chord, 2 on the A, 4 on the D, and it's going to, the picking pattern is going to be open, mute, mute, open, mute, mute, and then it's going to slide from B to C sharp to D, all in one progression. So all together. Then the same picking pattern there. Slide it back. D, C sharp, B. Same pattern again. then slide up, B, C sharp, D, and then here's the difference in the ending. D, C sharp, A. So all together slowly. And then the last section of verse 1 is basically using the first half of pre-verse 1. So you're ending with so I'm going to play all of verse 1 now. All right, so we're going to break down the chorus note for note. We're starting out with a B, 2 on the A string, 4 on the D string. We're going to hit it, slide to a D, and then right back to a B where we started. So notice I only picked the very first note. And then A, open A string, 2 on the D string, open hit. And an F sharp, 2 on the E string, 4 on the A string, muted. Then we're going to do a quick hammer on with the chords from A to a B. So that's open A, 2 on the E again, and then 2 on the A string and 4 on the D string. And then a little, very quick muted open E. We do the slide from B, D to B again. Muted open string. Go down to an E, which is 7 on the A string and 9 on the D string. And then a D. C sharp. So very slowly. Second time is the same thing, except at the end, instead of going like this, it's so that's on the D chord, 5 on the A string, 7 on the D string, muted chug 3 times, then open, and then slide down to C sharp. So the whole thing together. Right after the chorus, we have pre-verse 2, which is exactly the same as pre-verse 1. And verse 2 is exactly the same as verse 1, except for the very end. So in verse 1, we end like this. C sharp, D, E. At the very end of verse 2, we're doing the exact opposite. So we're starting on E, 7 on the A string, 9 on the D string, E, D, C. That's the only difference between the verses. Chorus 2 is exactly the same as chorus 1. And now we're going to head to breakdown 1, where I'll play it full speed and then we'll break it down. All right, it's time to slow down, break down 1 note for note. Now in this part, Johnny and I are playing pretty much different rhythms throughout all of it, so I'm just going to do mine, obviously. So to start out, we're going to break it into 4 measures. The first 2 measures are exactly the same. We're starting out on a D chord, so 5 on the A, 7 on the D. All I'm going to do is hit it once and then slide off the guitar. Then there's a little bit of a rest. And when I come back in, it's going to go D, D, C, D, E flat, D. So just to break it down from the beginning again. Then we have the tail end, which is exactly the same, all 4 measures. Sliding down to G, 10 on the A string, 12 on the D string. It's going to go G, F, 1 whole step down, and then F, E flat. F is 8 on the A string, 10 on the D string. And then it repeats again. So I'll do the first 2 measures right now. Third measure is basically playing the same chords except for playing the thirds. So the first chord is now going to be 8 on the A string, 7 on the D string. Next chord is 7 on the A string, 5 on the D string. Then the next one is 10 on the A string, 8 on the D string. Fourth chord is 13 on the A, 12 on the D. And the final chord is 12 on the A string, 10 on the D string. So just together, it's... One more time. And the same exact tail end. And the fourth and final measure, we're doing a harmony on that. So the first chord is 7 on the D string, 5 on the G string. Next chord is 5 on the D string, 4 on the G string. Next chord is 9 on the D string and 7 on the G string. Fourth chord is 12 on the D string and 10 on the G string. And the final chord is 10 on the D string and 9 on the G string. So to play the last measure in full. So let's play all of Breakdown 1 at a slower pace. breakdown 2 is where my main solo occurs. But as far as the rhythm goes, it's the same exact thing for all 4 measures. So we've already played it at full speed. Let's break it down note for note. First, we're starting out on a B, so 2 on the A string, 4 on the D string. And then B, C sharp, D. Then back down. D, C sharp, B. And then up again. D, C sharp, A. Same exact thing all 4 times. You'll notice it's almost exactly the same as the middle part of the verses, except we're hitting all open notes. So once again, in full. So breakdown 3 is where the solos switch from mine to Johnny's. So I'm going to break down the rhythm here. It's going to divide it into a couple different parts. The first 2 measures are exactly the same. We're going to start out on an F sharp, 2 on the E string, 4 on the A string, 4 on the D string. Basically just got to follow the picking pattern of open and muted hits. So it starts out like this. Then a G, you're shifting up just a half step to G, 3 on the E, 5 on the A, 5 on the D string. G, E, open E, 2 on the A, 2 on the D string, and then G again. Let's play that first part by itself. Then we have a picking pattern position back in the F sharp. So all muted. 2 on the A string, 4 on the A string, 4 on the D string, open G, open A, open B, I'm sorry. Then going back down, open G, 4 on the D string, 4 on the A string. So, and then the same exact ending, G, E, G. So let's play that all together. So that's basically the first half of breakdown 3 for Johnny's solo. Now we're basically doing the same progression, except we're palm muting a little faster on the F sharps. So the pattern is now going to be so that's F sharp, open, open, and then to a G, open, E, and then 2 G hits. We're going to do that 3 times. The third time you open yourself up a little bit more with the muting, so it'll sound like this. right here. And then the very final measure is just going back to the F sharp, and with each hit you release a little bit more off your mute. So let's play Breakdown 3 in its entirety slow. So to wrap up the song, we have chorus 3, which is pretty much the same thing as chorus 1 and 2, just some slight differences. Number 1, in the fact that it's doubled, and number 2, the tail end of each measure slightly differs from the previous stuff. So basically all 4 times it's going to be this. Which you learned previously. The only difference is at the very final time, instead of leaving it hanging, it's just, and it stops. And that is basically the end of the song, guys. Now you know how to play Emotionless. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And of course, any comments are more than welcome and much appreciated. We'll see you guys soon.